Someone asks you for a favor you don't have time for. Every part of you is screaming no, and you hear your own mouth say, "Sure, happy to help." You walk away resentful, overcommitted, a little angry at yourself, wondering why you can never just say that one small word. No. It's 2 letters, so why is it so hard? Why do we say yes when we mean no, again and again, until our lives are full of things we never wanted to agree to? The answer lives in one of the oldest fears a social creature can have. Here's the core of it. Saying no, to your brain, doesn't feel like declining a request. It feels like risking a relationship. When someone asks something of you and you refuse, a deep part of you anticipates their disappointment, their displeasure, the possibility that they'll like you less, think worse of you, pull away. And that anticipated rejection feels genuinely threatening, because to the social brain, being liked and accepted isn't a nice bonus. It's tied to your sense of safety. So you say yes, not because you want to, but to avoid the dreaded feeling of letting someone down. Why does disappointing someone feel so dangerous? Go back, as we so often do, to our deep history. Humans survived by belonging to a group, and your acceptance within that group depended partly on being useful, cooperative, and agreeable. Someone who constantly refused to help, who put themselves first, who said no too often, risked being seen as selfish and losing favor with the very people they depended on for survival. So the brain learned to treat keeping others happy as important, even at a cost to yourself. The instinct to please, to go along, to avoid friction is ancient, and it runs deep. For some people, this instinct becomes a defining pattern, what's often called people-pleasing. It usually has roots in earlier experiences, in environments where love or safety felt conditional on being good, helpful, easy, on not making waves. A child who learned that their needs were a burden, that they earned affection by being accommodating, grows into an adult for whom no feels almost forbidden, loaded with guilt and fear. The yes that costs you so much isn't really about the favor in front of you. It's an old strategy for staying safe and loved, still running long after you needed it. Notice what's actually happening in the moment of the request. There's a collision between 2 things. On one side, your own needs, your time, your energy, your limits, the honest no. On the other side, the fear of the other person's reaction, the desire to be liked, the dread of conflict. And in that collision, for many of us, the fear wins almost every time. The other person's potential disappointment looms so much larger than your own very real needs that you sacrifice yourself to prevent it. You pay with your time and energy to buy a moment's relief from the discomfort of saying no. Here's the cruel math, though, the part that should make you reconsider. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you're saying no to something else. No to your own rest. No to the things you actually wanted to do. No to your own priorities, your own peace, sometimes your own health. The yes that protects the other person's feelings comes directly out of your own life. And the resentment that builds up, favor after favor, yes after reluctant yes, slowly poisons the very relationships you were trying to protect. People-pleasing doesn't actually make you a better friend or partner. It makes you a depleted, quietly resentful one. There's another hidden cost. When you can't say no, your yes becomes meaningless. If you agree to everything, then your agreement carries no real weight, because it was never a genuine choice. The people who can say no, clearly and kindly, are the ones whose yes actually means something, because you know that when they say yes, they mean it. Your inability to refuse doesn't just hurt you, it cheapens your commitment, makes you less reliable, fills your life with half-hearted obligations you never wanted and can't fully honor. So how do you learn to say the word? The first step is recognizing that no is a complete sentence and that you're allowed to use it. You don't owe everyone access to your time and energy. Declining a request is not an act of cruelty or betrayal. It's an ordinary, healthy part of being a person with limits. The belief that you must say yes, that refusing makes you bad or selfish, is a distortion, usually inherited from somewhere old, you can question it. Most people who ask things of you are not asking you to destroy yourself to accommodate them. They'd often rather have an honest no than a resentful yes. A practical technique is to buy yourself time instead of answering on the spot, because the automatic yes usually happens in the heat of the moment, before you've even checked in with yourself. Let me check and get back to you. I need to think about that. This breaks the reflex, gives you space to consult your actual needs and limits, and makes it far easier to decline later from a calm distance than to refuse to someone's face in real time. The pause is your friend. It interrupts the panic that drives the automatic yes. It also helps to remember that you can say no warmly, that kindness and refusal are not opposites. You don't have to be harsh or cold to decline. You can be gracious, even appreciative, and still say no. I'm so glad you thought of me, and I can't take this on right now. No long justification, no groveling apology, no elaborate excuse, which often just invites negotiation anyway. A simple, kind, clear no, without a paragraph of guilt attached. The clean no respects both you and the other person far more than a tangle of excuses ever could. And expect the discomfort, because it will come, especially at first. After years of automatic yes, saying no will feel deeply uncomfortable, even when it's completely reasonable. You'll feel guilt, anxiety, the urge to immediately take it back. That discomfort is not a sign you did something wrong. It's the old fear of rejection firing, the ancient alarm protesting. You can feel all of it and still hold the no. And each time you do, each time you survive saying no, and the relationship doesn't collapse, and the world doesn't end, the alarm gets a little quieter, and the next no gets a little easier. There's a reframe worth holding on to through all of this. Boundaries are not walls that push people away. They're the lines that let relationships be honest and sustainable. When you can say no, your yes becomes real, your resentment fades, and the people in your life get the genuine you, not the depleted, secretly frustrated version that says yes to everything and slowly burns out. Far from damaging your relationships, learning to say no is often what saves them, because it lets you show up as someone with something real left to give. So the next time someone asks something of you and you feel that familiar yes rising automatically to your lips against everything you actually want, pause and recognize what's happening. An old fear of rejection is trying to spend your life to keep someone else comfortable. You're allowed to protect your time. You're allowed to disappoint people sometimes. You're allowed to say no, kindly and clearly, and let that be enough. Because every yes you don't mean is a no to yourself, and you are worth saying yes to, too.